So you remember a while back, Sony had shut down, they were selling movies like in the PlayStation Store. Like you could buy movies and TV shows. And they shut that down about a year ago. But they were like, hey, even though we're not selling these anymore, if you've bought stuff in the past, you'll be able to continue to access it, yada, yada, yada. We're just going to shut this down because it's not lucrative enough for us.
Yeah.
Well, apparently that's not going to be the case even for Germany and Austria currently. Because Sony has announced that due to licensing deals with Studio Canal, who makes a bunch of films that currently the license is dealing for those areas, they can't work out a deal. And so they're pulling those from people's libraries, which is insane to me.
Wait.
Yes.
You've bought it.
Yes.
It's in your library. They're saying
that's how I understand it. Yeah.
You can't have that anymore.
Yep.
Apparently, with the deals that they did with Studio Canal way back when, or however that license was put up, or you just have to be smart about buying things. Anybody who's buying movies on PlayStation or Nintendo or Xbox,
they had it coming.
They didn't have it coming because this should not be happening. But you also, in the digital world, and this has been this way for a long time, it's like if you're going to buy, which most people don't buy music these days, but if you're going to buy music or movies or whatever, you always want to buy it on the most platform agnostic and that the most things can get to.
That's right.
So anybody, like I remember when they had the store, and it didn't surprise me when the store shut down because I was like, who's sitting there on their PlayStation like, I want to buy this movie and it's going to live here only. I mean, you can't even watch them on your phone through the PlayStation app. It's like, who does that with any of these consoles? That makes no sense. If you're going to buy it, you go to Amazon or you go to Vudu or you go to whatever iTunes is being called these days. It's like, so that being said, these people still shouldn't be having to deal with this because especially if Sony said, hey, now, granted, I know in a small respect, it might not be completely their fault because it's a two-party system here. But like, no, this shouldn't be happening. You should just figure out a way to make it happen. Just like getting PlayStation 3 games to play emulated on a PS5. You just need to figure it out. There's kind of really no excuse in my mind for it.
But it must have been because of PS3, having a Blu-ray DVD player in it. Like some people probably use that on top of their gaming as well, and so they probably tried to tap in. Oh well, now there's movies involved, but it's that all that is so phased out anyway, and everything's digital. Yeah, I mean, but you mean they would want to buy something digitally because they're used to watching stuff? Or what do you mean? I'm not. Yeah, I mean, well, they had that infrastructure in place already because you could watch Blu-ray DVDs, and then I have a feeling they were just trying to keep it going and start streaming or purchasing
I know
digitally.
Absolutely why Sony was selling them at one point in time. Hey, we can make a buck. That's not surprising at all.
Right, but it's like at some point you got to be like, guys, my guy, let's go.
Yeah, but you would think with a name like Sony, buying it through Sony, you're like, I don't have to worry about this. It's Sony.
Right. You would think.
But Chris is saying,
Yeah, I personally
I would have never bought one through the PlayStation Store.
No,
I never buy anything digitally on a place where it feels like it's an island. I've never done that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, why
just
y'all
because you
over
don't
here?
know. Yeah.
But that's wild that they're taking it out of people's libraries.
Yeah, because when I read this, I was like, well, that store already shut down, so I don't understand what the point the story is getting to. And then I read through it. It said the purchased content will be removed from customers' video libraries. I was like, what?
Sony's like, you're done watching Paddington, right? Because
we'll just take that back.
Because and I think, and to Chris's point, it's the one thing that we're all really scared of, right? It's like buying a $70 game, downloading it, and for whatever reason, 6 years from now, them saying, you can't download that anymore.
Yeah.
It was different with PT because that was free. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And there was an uproar about that. Not uproar, but there was problems with that. Flappy Bird was the same way. Remember, they're like, here you go. Never mind. But Flappy Bird, you at least kept on your iPhone or iPad and could still play. PT, you could keep on your system and still play. You just couldn't download it anymore. But that's always the weak but constant argument from people that buy physically only. They're like, well, they can come through and take it if they wanted to. And you're like, no, they won't do that. and then here's a small little area that has happened, and now people can point to this like, see, no, they took those movies.
There's
those
no way
bought those movies.
But there's no way it's going to set a precedent. Like, this is just probably...
No, it won't set a precedent, but I'm saying it's going to be that one thing that people can point to.
Right.
Exactly.
And you pray it doesn't set a precedent.
That's
because
right.
then, precedents get set, and then they meet you where you're at usually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So hopefully that doesn't happen, because none of us would want Overwatch in the next 7 years. It's already a bummer that servers get shut down.
Yeah.
Right. That's almost just as bad. I bought this game. It was server based. They shut down the server. Can't play the game anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they give you enough time, though, right? For a lot of that.
But the problem is you bought
Usually.
Yeah.
You know what
This
I'm saying?
shutdown in particular for this one, like they're saying August 31st. You got between now and then to finish watching Hunger Games.
That's right.
As much as you want
For the
before we're
15th
taking
time.
it away from you. That Mockingjay gonna fly away.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Set it free.
I volunteer. What was it? I volunteer as what?
As tribute.
That's tribute.
Tribute. Gosh, I love that book. Doggone it. That's why I knew I was a kid at heart. I read that book in one day, the first one.
Stacy read,
day.
I want to say, she may have read all three. It's three, right?
I
Yeah,
read all
Lauren read
three.
all three of them.
Yeah,
saying,
but I'm just
I read the
saying,
first
I
one in
think
a day.
she may have read all three. I know for sure she read the first two, but I never read any of the books. I just watched the movies.
It was the first time that I understood when people were like, ooh, and I couldn't put it down. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, we had Amara. Like, I was a dad. I had responsibilities and chose to read a book all day.
Mars diapers full.
Is that the last?
We're good.
Is that the last like book series you've read?
Last?
Only.
Oh, is that only? Oh, okay.
I mean, besides the Bible, I've read
Yeah.
the Bible
That's right.
from
Yeah.
cover to cover. But I've never read a book before. I've audio booked.
I've never read a book before. That's a quote right there.
I don't think I have. Like I've read the Hunger Games.
I mean, don't get me
trilogy.
wrong. I mean, I don't read a ton of books either, but I've
Yeah,
read,
me neither.
and especially during when I was in school, like I had to read books.
I mean, I
read a
had
book
to
or two.
read books, like enough of the book. Like we had to read Watership Down, but I think I just read enough of Watership Down to be able to pass the test.
That's right.
And then, but I didn't read it cover to cover. I mean, cover to cover read. Now I've audibled a couple books.
Sure,
and
yeah.
ingested them like that. But
That's fair.
I'm such a slow reader. That's why I stopped doing audiobooks. That and there ain't no money in it, but because I'm so slow, it takes me forever. So I only chose like books that were like 120 pages, and it would take me way longer than it should have. Not like Ed. Ed can read.
I'm supposed
Hooked
to
on
be
phonics ain't work for
doing
your
the
boy.
story still, huh? Man, I'm a slow reader too. It's the same thing.
What's
And
the
that-
last book you read?
The last book that I read,
Mm-hmm.
it was
sat down and read a book cover to cover.
The last ones that I read as an adult was I finished the whole Lord of the Rings series, or whatever. And that was, that was a good while ago.
Those are huge, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I've been here and there, like every time when I went to Houston and when I was on the cruise, except I didn't read any of it on the cruise. I've been taking the Silmarillion with me because I've been trying to get back into it, but it's been going really slow because I've been doing these things where like at night I'm crashing or we're just doing a ton of stuff. It's like I don't even have time for reading. Not to mention I'd be slow when I did it. So I'll eventually get through that, and then I have a copy of Stacy got me for my birthday. It's the Lord of the Rings, all of them in one big hardback right there.
Nice.
That's
I wanna go back
I
through.
get intimidated by big books. Like even my Bible is really thin because if I look over and I see this huge hefty book, I'm like, I'm not reading.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's intimidating to me.
I mean, I fall under that
Bye-bye, Goblet of Fire.
that same criteria when it comes to like movies or games. Like when you tell me what was the one with the Persona 5 Royale? Like I'm already not into the turn-based stuff, but then I was like, but it's getting so hype. It's like you tell me it's 200 plus hours. I don't even want to start it. It's like I'm never going to see the end of that. It's nowhere near worth my time. Everybody's gonna be like, but did you get to? And then I'm just gonna feel like, well, but I got to this. Like, oh, that's nothing. Well, then why did I do any of it?
Okay, so now you guys got me curious. Tim, what's the last book you read? Because then I feel like an outlier.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to think of what I read. I think it was I picked up a book at an airport. We had a layover somewhere, and it might have been like a John Grisham book or something. something like that.
Oh, like you bought it.
Yeah, I bought it.
The way you said, I thought you
didn't
just saw it on the ground, like, oh, I picked up a book. Sorry, I thought you just picked a book up off the ground. Somebody dropped this.
I'm a ghost.
I'm gonna read it.
Yeah, no. No, it was one of those. I don't like. I don't have a lot to. We had a long. I think when we were going to Hawaii or something, maybe.
So we're not readers, is what we're getting at.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. Ed's a reader.
Lauren reads at night on her iPad every night. That's how she goes to bed. Like, she will read. Yeah. She's read tons of books.
I will say this. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay. I read the first paragraph over and over again, and the next thing I know, it's the morning. So that's how that works.
Yeah, I've been there for sure.
Yep.
So Ready Player 2, Ed, was the last book you read?
That's the last physical book I read, yeah.
Jeez, man, I want to be a reader so bad. It was part of my loose New Year's resolution this year.
Yeah, I realized within a pretty short amount of time that I do not like reading books on the iPad. I am a physical book.
Yeah.
Same,
I don't, because I bought a couple. Actually, I bought the Steve Jobs biography I was like, I'm gonna read this on my iPad. That just totally makes sense. And I read it, but it was just like, I don't like this. I want a book, even though it's a little bit more of a hassle because you've got to have a light and all this other kinds of stuff. It's like, no.
But you want to see your progress and want to know where you're at, and
there's something more tangible with.
I don't even really know. Like, I'm sure it's a little bit of all of that together. Like, I can't put my finger on this is the thing I don't like about it. I just know I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I'll read articles and magazines and all that kinds of stuff all the time, but or digital magazines, if you will, like Flipboard and whatnot. I love how that's like my own digital magazine of all these things, but I can't stand the idea of reading a book on an iPad or my phone or even a desktop. I just don't want to do it.
Oh, phone would be terrible. I would not want to read a book on a phone at all.
I've tried it on a plane, and you flip so many pages before like the next page shows as like that you've progressed a page.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh. Yeah, I can't.
No,
sir. Chris?
Yes.
This episode brought to you by Audible.
Gabe, you like books, right?
You guys like 12-minute commercials about books, don't you?
Audible. Go to tryaudible.com/MTTG, baby. Save yourself whatever we said.
That's good.
Oh, man.